Hello everyone, Fixxxer here. I hope you like museums because I'm going to be walking around a museum while talking about museums. So this game is called the Museum of Monoliths, developed by Podoba Interactive and published by Marevo Collective. You can get it on Steam for like $3. I'll put a link down below if you guys want to check it out. But they describe it as a slow burn walking sim with an interactive soundtrack and horror vibes. And we're expected to explore some abstract locations. I'm gonna hop right in. I don't know which one is which. Okay, that works. That might be a little dark on your end. I don't think that's going to be the case the whole time. I think that's just something that's with this room. What is that pattern? It's just a black and white grid. There's a room highlighted down there. You see the light coming out of it? So there is a reason why I'm playing a walking sim. If you guys watched my last video, you'll know that I jacked up my index finger on my right hand. There's something in there. Pretty sure that's where I'm supposed to go. Oh, well, that's loading a place. All right, well, I guess maybe that's like a museum gallery and, you know, enter doorways. Guess I'm just supposed to explore. Again, this is a walking sim. My finger, I messed up my finger. I lobbed a piece of it off, for those of you who don't know. And I can't really squeeze or press anything with it. It's immensely painful. So I'm pretty much relegated to using my middle finger on my left mouse click. And that's very awkward for me. I can't do anything with that. But I can kind of do walking sims. So here we are playing a walking sim. And I chose this one specifically because it's a museum of sorts. Surrealist museum, but it's a museum. Because I had a trip recently where I went to a couple museums and I just wanted to talk about that. So this video is going to be mostly me talking about my experiences while we're walking around this environment. So, where to start? As you guys know, I'm in or around Houston. We got a fork on the road. We can walk. There's no jumping. Doesn't appear to be any crouching, just walking and running. I'm going to probably run. So I live in and around Houston, and I recently had a family matter going on in Lubbock, Texas, which is like pretty much the other side of the state from Houston. It was about a 9-hour drive. Well, that's including some stops. And I'll tell you what the stops were. Had a couple stops of museums. So driving to Hico. I think it's Hico actually. Hico, Texas. And I don't know what those balls are. As we approach Hico, I did this trip with my girlfriend, by the way. I recognized the name Hico, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Did I move that ball by interacting with this? I don't know. It changed the sounds, but nothing else really happened. Okay, weird. Was that something over there? No. So yeah, I recognize the name Hico. I'm like, what? Wait, that name's familiar to me. And so I Googled it, be like, why is Hico famous? And I'm gonna rewind back to my ute. In my teens, I was very interested in the Wild West. Not really movies. I didn't really get into Wild West movies like old Westerns or even new Westerns. Just wasn't really my thing. There's a few that I liked, but wasn't my thing. I was just interested in reading about it, all the interesting characters from then. And specifically, I was interested in the Lincoln County War in the late 1800s. And for those of you who don't know, that is Billy the Kid and Pat Garrett and all the other stuff, Murphy Dolan, all that stuff. Interested in that. I read about it. I did like the movie Young Guns, loosely based on it, and I can tell you guys right now, all Billy the Kid movies are pretty. They're very liberal when it comes to the interpretation of what happened. They're not accurate. I'm going to put it that way. I'm not sure there are any. Even the new one, that TV series, I don't remember which station it was on. Was it FX or whatever? I watched most seasons of that, and while I enjoyed it, it claims to be the most accurate representation of Billy the Kid, and I don't think it is. I mean, the only way it's going to be is because the other ones are just so grossly inaccurate. So, I don't even know what's going on in this. I guess I'm just finding monoliths and then fondling them? Oh. Is that taking me out? It did. All right, that's a different room. So yeah, these are basically, I guess, individual museum spots. So this is the one I went into before, or no? Is this the same one? We're clicking on it. We'll find out. I got a nice cold. Oh, it is different. I got some chocolate milk with me. Because after we got back from my trip to Lubbock, I got sick, so my throat is still a tiny bit sore. Which I like to treat with chocolate almond milk. Because regular chocolate milk gives me stomach aches. But almond milk? We're clear. Anyway, can I just drop down from here to here? Okay. I can. So yeah, I liked Lincoln County stuff, Billy the Kid stuff, Pat Garrett stuff, all that jazz from the late 1800s. And in case you guys don't know the story, of course, Pat Garrett shot and killed Billy the Kid. However, there's some mystery, some conspiracy theory around that, and I'm going to let you guys know I don't believe any of it. I think that he was probably just killed like was reported, but there are some people who think he was not. And the movie Young Guns 2 kind of alludes to that. There's a man, and I don't remember the exact years or anything like that, so I'm going to just generalize, that in sometime in the early 1900s, his name was Brushy Bill Roberts. He came out and said, "Yo, I'm the real Billy the Kid. Pat Garrett never killed me. I'm still okay." I guess I have to go this way because I don't think I can make that jump. First of all, I can't jump. I can only walk off ledges. So for a long time, he claimed he was Billy the Kid. And this is a very colorful character who seemed to be in a lot of famous times with a lot of famous people. In other words, his story just sounded like a bunch of BS. Well, anyways, he is, I don't know if he's from Hico or he lived in Hico. I think he lived in Hico. He was born elsewhere in Texas, I would guess. Probably somewhere near Hico. I don't know. But that was Hico's claim to fame, is that is the home to Brushy Bill Roberts, who some people believe is Billy the Kid. And he ended up dying in like the 1950s, I want to say. So I look it up and I find out we're back to present day, what happened a week or so ago. And the Billy the Kid Museum is in Hico, Texas. And I'm like, hell yeah, we're going to go check that out. Do we got a red or in a purple monolith? Do I want to touch these? I don't even know. Oh, I can only touch one. All right, I guess we're going with just purple then. I don't know what that does for me. The music changed a little. Maybe that's all it does. So I'm super excited to check this out, but I have my expectations in check because, like, what are you going to find at a Billy the Kid museum, right? He was a famous outlaw who died under quiet, secret circumstances. I wasn't expecting, like, literally anything of his to be in this museum. Like, this is not something we really did back then, you know? I'm not expecting anything of his. I'm expecting basically newspaper clippings. I'm expecting, like, yo, these are the kind of saddles that they used during the Lincoln County War in this part of the country. These are the type of guns that these people used. Of course, Billy the Kid was a member of John Tunstall's Regulators, who were people that were deputized in the county, and they did things like, they were involved in a lot of cattle ranching and like cattle stealing and things like that. This place is huge. I don't even know if I'm going the right direction. I think I want to go that way, but what is all the way down here? Does this just take me down and... Ooh, I almost fell. Although I am curious what happens if you do fall. So I have my expectations in check for the Billy the Kid Museum, and the sign going in was fantastic. I love the sign. It's the picture on the sign. I'll put it up. There's nothing identifiable in that, so I'll put it up. And they have a picture of Brushy Bill Roberts. Sign was really cool. So I had no expectations. I was not expecting anything of his to be in there. Just here's some furniture. These are things you would find in a saloon that he would go into, or this and that, you know, stuff like that. And stories told by people. I wasn't expecting anything big. And it is a small town museum, and I like small town museums, and I think is important for these things to exist. Small town museums. So we get there and we walk inside, and of course right in the front is the gift shop, just like, you know, any museum. I didn't really look around too much in the gift shop because generally I want to look through the museum first and then go into the gift shop. Maybe something in the museum inspired me, right? And I'm like, oh man, I would love to have that little kitschy thing that they had in the museum, but it's in plastic in the gift shop. Things like that. All right, well, there's a light up there. Brightish, yellowish light. So, gold and blue? Oh, geez, that scared me. I was not expecting that. Takes me back here. There's purple coming out of there. So we get in there, and there's two older ladies, and they were very nice. We talked to them for a little bit. They asked where we were from and all that stuff, because they seem to be really heavily focused on, you know, where people are coming from to visit their museum. Oh God, this is moving while I move. It's trippy. And, you know, they're like, it's a $5 donation per person to enter the museum. I'm like, okay, so I look at my wallet and I got a 20. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll just donate the 20 because they accept donations as well. And again, like I said, I really want places like this to exist, small town museums. This was not a very big building. It was in in the downtown area of Haiku. And so the building itself wasn't very big either. Just a tiny little downtown. This place is so trippy. It reminds me of Iron Lung. I don't know if you guys played Iron Lung. You're in like a alien planet and you're in like a lake of blood. This kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Very trippy. So I dropped the 20 in the donation basket. I'm like, you know, I want to donate the extra $10. I want you guys to exist because stuff like this is cool. And to get into the museum are like these old style saloon doors, which by the way, weren't really a thing back in the day. You can thank Hollywood for that trope. There's a lot of weird Western tropes that never were really a thing, like tumbleweed. There was no tumbleweed in the Old West. Tumbleweed's not even native to America. That stuff came after the Old West. And I want to say, if I remember correctly, it came in through Russia. But anyway, point is they had some saloon doors. We walk in, and the first room is nothing but like World War II stuff. And of course, as you've already put together, Billy the Kid's time was the late 1800s, which is not World War II. So we briefly looked around. We're like, yeah, we're not here for World War II. We'll proceed into the next room. And they had like badges and uniforms, and they had like 30 guns on the wall. And not to mention, looking at those guns, I'm like, well, those aren't all World War II guns. They have just a collection of guns. This is pretty. What happens if I touch it? Probably won't be able to touch this one then, because a lot of these, if there's two, it seems like an either or choice. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. Excuse me. So anyways, we proceed to the next area, which had also saloon doors. I'm gonna go this way, I think. And walk in there. Again, the room is not very big. It's a little bit longer than it is wide, and there's like a separator down the middle. And we turn to the left and there's paintings on the wall, and some of these paintings look old, so wasn't really a lot of context given with the paintings. Some of them just looked old, some of them I recognized characters. I feel a heartbeat. Can I go up here? No. And some of them just looked like newer paintings of Billy the Kid and other characters from that time. I'm like, huh, okay, weird. Not a lot of context provided. You'd think they would provide context with paintings, but okay. There was some furniture there. There was like a piano from a saloon. Again, no context really. It's just a piano chilling there. But it was neat to see. We looked around at the other furniture. They had a couch and they had some chairs, all stuff that they use in there. This is kind of stuff I kind of expected at a Billy the Kid museum, right? I wasn't expecting his actual gun or anything like that. Figured that would get lost in time. So this feels like it's rippling to the music. And this one's just solid. All right. That is like one section on the left side. So we start in this museum going clockwise. And we move to the next little room. And I say room, these aren't very big. They're more nooks. I got some pictures that I'll be putting up for you guys. And we turn the corner and I see this huge diorama. And I thought it was going to be a diorama of an instance where Billy the Kid and the regulars were in a house and they were surrounded by local law enforcement and eventually the US military. And I thought it was going to be a diorama of that because there was a house, but it wasn't. What is this? What is going on? This is not a dead end, is it? There was also a very large diorama of two armies. I'm like, what do you mean? There's nothing like this in the Lincoln County Wars. What do you mean? The wars were like a merchant war. And yes, the US military was called in at one point. There weren't two like militaries there. And I look closely and I see a sign said that it was a diorama of the Battle of Antietam. I'm like, well, what do you mean? That's on the other side of the country. What is this doing in my Billy the Kid museum? And then I looked next to it and there's like a portrait of Robert E. Lee. And then next to that, there's a portrait of Robert E. Lee. And then I look around and everything's Robert E. Lee and a couple other Confederate things. I'm like, well, why is this in my Billy the Kid museum? Okay, so the Civil War is a little closer to Billy the Kid's time than World War II. It's still a strange thing to put in the Billy the Kid museum. Not to mention, I haven't seen a whole lot of Billy the Kid yet. Or Pat Garrett, or any of the friends. So I'm like, huh. All right, well, I guess I'll go to the next nook. And we go to the next nook, and it's like a Robert E. Lee shrine. It's got all these portraits of Robert E. Lee. And I'm like, all right, well, this feels like a bait and switch to me. So move on from that, and the other half of the museum was all Billy the Kid. And it was the stuff I was expecting, right? It was a lot of newspaper clippings, a lot of testimonials, and things of that nature. That had the context included with the stuff. It was just like, hi, we have a collection of this stuff. Do you like it? What is even going on in this game? I don't know. I guess I picked the perfect game to talk about this. Can I go up in these things? Probably not. So we finish up the museum, looking at all the Billy the Kid stuff. Of course, they didn't have anything of his. And there was a lot of stuff there that also didn't have context, right? They just had some guns there. And it's like, well, why are these guns here? Did they use guns like this? I don't know. It just, again, it felt like someone donated their private collection. So I'm a little disappointed. We go to leave and we're like, well, on our way out, may as well check out what they got in the World War II section. Because it's still old, interesting history stuff. Want to check it out. So we go in there and we're looking around and It's kind of got like an island in the middle, and we went to the area that we didn't see, like on the way in. I'm doing hand gestures as if you guys can see them. I don't know why I do that. It's so silly. And they had an area with like all Nazi stuff. So we're looking at it and there's zero context. There is nothing. It's just like a proud display case full of Nazi badges and medals and silverware and hats, you know, uniforms, things like that. Again, and this had, the only context provided was donated, you know, provided by this one dude's collection or whatever, right? So I'm like, at this point, more than 50% of the Billy the Kid Museum is Confederate and Nazi shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is a very weird looking monolith. I'm guessing it takes me back. So at this point, I'm like, all right, well, I'm ready to leave. Not really interested in buying anything at the gift shop. I don't want to give these people money. I already donated money to them. And I felt dirty about that, giving these clowns money. Is this the same one that I was in earlier? Oh no, this is different. I feel smaller. So we exit. And we do take a look at the gift shop, and not a lot of gift shop stuff they have. A lot of merch was Billy the Kid. Oh my God, my throat. Not a lot was Billy the Kid. It was mostly all veteran stuff. So veteran of the Korean War, or the Vietnam War, hats, shirts, etc. Things like that. Lots of veteran stuff. And I'm thinking like, these are all people who fought against fascist shit. I don't understand why you've got basically shrines to the Confederacy and shrines to Nazis while promoting this veteran stuff. They fought these fascists. What is going on with this place? I don't get it. And so, again, I'm looking through the gift shop, and they have a lot of garbage in there, as gift shops tend to do, and especially small ones. They got to try to make money somehow. But they also had a bunch of Trump shit. No, so let me get this straight. Yeah, got me in here with a Billy the Kid Museum, and you're selling all this pro-veteran stuff. Well, you have shrines to Robert E. Lee, you have a shrine to Nazis, and you got Donald Trump merch. And I'm like, fuck this place. What a bunch of clowns. It's a shrine to losers all the way through. So I was very disappointed in my experience. I went in pretty excited, with not so high expectations, but still excited. And it sucked. It just flat out sucked. And I'm telling you this story because I went to 2 museums, and they were polar opposite experiences. So now I'm going to tell you about a nice experience. So we get to Lubbock, and I'm not sure if you guys know some of Lubbock's claim to fame. It's got it's the birthplace of a very important figure in rock and roll history. That would be Buddy Holly. Now, I'm going to rewind again, just like I did for the last museum. Place is weird. I grew up with my parents enjoying oldies and Motown specifically. Will I be able to jump up over there? I'm not sure that I can. I'm worried about falling down there and not getting back up. So I grew up with a bunch of oldies, 50s, 60s bands. You know, Buddy Holly had a pretty important role in rock and roll. So I grew up a big Buddy Holly fan. This is the only way to go, guys. I feel like I do have to fall down here, but I'm a little worried. Because now what do I do? Is this rip me? I think it is. Oh. thought he was going to kill me. I feel okay. I feel okay. That was the end. What do we have next? Uh-oh. So I was very excited to go to the Buddy Holly Center, which is basically the museum in Lubbock, Texas. Ooh, that was a little creepy. So we get there, and I can show you a picture of the front of the museum, which is pretty cool. They got like these giant horn-rimmed glasses. I can't interact with this. Oh. Because we're going there. So I can show you a picture of the entrance. I cannot show you a picture of anything inside because unlike the Billy the Kid Museum, they don't allow photos. And that's usually the case with nicer museums. They generally don't allow photos. They want people to come in and all that stuff. But anyways, I don't remember how much it cost. It wasn't expensive. I think it was $10. I'm pretty sure it was $10. Yeah, not expensive at all. Uh-oh. I got choices. We go this way. And so we go in there, and they got a lot of cool stuff. They had, like, I don't know if they had all his guitars, but they had quite a few of his guitars, which were very neat. Including his very first guitar. And they had the guitar that he played while he was on the Ed Sullivan show. And now I want to talk about this is where it came from, isn't it? Oh, no, this is square. I want to talk about the Ed Sullivan show real quick. I don't remember what year it was. I'll put it on the screen. Late 50s. He was put on he went on the Ed Sullivan show, and you have to remember, this was basically the biggest show in the country. Ed Sullivan was huge. He was also notoriously a dick. And so they were going on, and Ed Sullivan wanted them, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, his band, which is basically the first four-man band that we had, although one guy left and they became a three-man band. Oh, I did not know that was timed. Oh, that was very weird. Okay, I'll keep walking this time. So it was a three-man band. Anyways, Ed Sullivan wanted him to play their slower songs, I guess. Wait, am I in a puzzle? Because this looks like the first area. He wanted them to play That'll Be the Day or Every Day, which is probably his two most popular songs, right? Yeah, I've been here, so I don't know if I got to do these in a certain order or what. There was a point where there was a fork, so I'll just go the other way. And Buddy Holly's like, nah, man, we're going on national TV. We're playing Oh Boy. And Oh Boy was one of their more aggressive songs, I guess you could say. It's very upbeat. More upbeat than probably any of their other songs at the time. And Ed Sullivan, and this is backstage, got into an argument with Buddy Holly, like, no, you're fucking playing That'll Be the Day or Every Day. Again, it was one of those songs. I don't remember which one it was. I don't remember if he gave him the option or if he told him to do one specific one. But, Buddy Holly's like, F off, I'm playing what I want. And so time came for the show, and Ed Sullivan introduced the band, and he mispronounced Buddy Holly's name intentionally to kind of like, F you, So he's like, here he is, Buddy Hollard and the Crickets. And I'll put the link below so you guys can go watch this, because I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to watch this after I tell you the story. So this is different. This is a monolith of sorts. So going this way. So he introduces them as Buddy Hollard and the Crickets. So he screwed up his name, as a power trip, right? It's also very Monolith-like. So they started playing Oh Boy anyways. Their aggressive song. They're like, F you, we're doing what we want. And so Ed Sullivan started cutting the volume on the mic for the guitar, I think it was, right? So he cut it off, or he reduced it. And there's a point in the video, and I don't remember exactly the timestamp. I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can jump to that if you want, but I recommend watching the whole video, where you see Buddy Holly turn up the gain on his guitar. And it wasn't enough, so he turns it up a second time in order to be as loud as he can be. And he continues the song, and he is rocking the F out. And at some point when he gets to the solo, he starts headbanging. Now, you guys, this is the freaking 50s. This is the 50s. This is a pivotal moment in rock and roll. Now, I've said before that it's kind of the start of rock and roll, and that's both true and not true, because rock and roll's got deep roots going all the way back into blues, right? It was born out of the blues, just like almost every other music genre. What is going on here? But even if you don't consider this like the birth of rock and roll as we know it, and when I say that, I'm like rebellion being a part of rock and roll, it is at least a very pivotal moment in rock and roll history, with him headbanging on stage and in defiance of authority. It feels like a very pivotal moment in rock and roll history. It's amazing. So watch that video from front to back. I highly recommend it. It's amazing. So anyways, they had the guitar that he was using on the Ed Sullivan Show. This is a very weird round. It's moving and it's translucent, which is very disorienting. So they had like this time frame, right, of things that happened in the music industry during Buddy Holly's tenure. And here's what people don't realize. A lot of people who enjoy music know who Buddy Holly is. Most people could probably name a song or two, usually Every Day or That'll Be the Day, right? There's a few other songs people might know, like Oh Boy or Ready Teddy or whatever. There's lots of songs. He had a lot of hit songs. Here's what people don't know. Those songs, that catalog of his with all those huge songs, was recorded in 18 months. That is it. Just 18 months. Now, he started his music career as a country artist with a friend from high school. And they had success as that. And he saw Elvis live once, and he's like, there's that robot, right? You see him in the corner? But once he saw Elvis, he's like, oh, well, rock and roll is my future, not country. So he switched to rock and roll. So from that point on, his first recording session doing rock and roll to his last one is only 18 months. His entire catalog, that huge catalog he has with all those hits, were done in a year and a half, and that is it. Now, he had, after his last session, he did have more live performances. So you can say his entire career was like 2 years, like two and a half years. I don't remember exactly. But his recording career was 18 months. And that is mind blowing that somebody had that that's never been done before or since. We've had artists that will sometimes pop up and be huge, right? But they've usually been in the industry for a little while, or they had staying power because, they didn't die early at a young age like Buddy Holly did. So 18 months is bizarre. It's never really been done since, I don't think. Maybe you guys will have an idea of somebody who got that big in so little time. So I wonder what happens if I walk close to this one. It's going to give me a different sound. It was different. I clicked on that one. So anyways, they had everything that happened in the industry during his very short tenure, like which songs were top on Billboard, not just his, but everybody else in all the years that he was performing. Who was, the top songs in country or in blues or in rockabilly or whatever, because rockabilly is kind of like the original name of rock and roll. Although some people would say they were a little different. Why is that there if I can't get on it? Maybe there was 2 ways to get here, I bet. They had a lot of personal documents. They had like his high school diploma. They had his first recording contract. They had his motorcycle, which was a 1958, off the top of my head, Ariel, I think? Ariel Cyclone. It is a honker of a bike, man. I'll put a picture of that up. I don't know if there's a picture of his that exists, but I can just grab an image off YouTube. I'm sorry, Google. Show you what the bike looked like. So I had a lot of fantastic information. I had a lot of context for everything they had. It was literally done in the right way possible. It remedied every bad thing that the Billy the Kid Museum did. It was amazing, and it looked beautiful. Like, their exhibits were beautiful. They were very well done. It was so cool to see that part of history. And they also had, oh shit, that's closing in on me. I don't know if I'm gonna make this one. Oh, that was close. They also had the horned rim glasses that he was wearing on the plane when it crashed. This is different. What is this now? I don't even know. They had the horned rim glasses. Of course, the lenses were busted, but the frames were still fine. And they were in a case, of course. You can't touch them. What was that? What's going on? I don't even know. Very weird. I don't even know what this game is. Museum of Monoliths. Anyway, amazing museum. I highly recommend you go. And the gift shop was really cool too. They had a lot of typical gift shop stuff, you know, the shot glasses, the coffee mugs, the keychains, stuff like that. But they also had other interesting stuff. They had like a lot of his vinyls. They had a lot of his stuff on CDs. They had a really cool poster. I bought the poster. They had some postcards. I bought a postcard and sent it to my mom because that was the stuff she listened to when she was growing up. Ooh, I like that color. Again, I don't even know what this stuff does. So I bought a few things from their gift shop. It was really cool. Really enjoyed it. There were a few other things there. They had like a fine art exhibit in this museum as well that some of the pieces had to do with Buddy Holly, but many of them didn't. They had like a lot of synesthesia art pieces. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they had an artist with a lot of synesthesia, which is having like associating colors with sounds and numbers and things and whatnot. I don't know, but the art pieces were very pretty. I enjoyed them. I liked them. And they had some furniture of Buddy Holly's as well. And like they had a whole bunch of letters that his widow wrote to celebrities who contributed to the museum magazine. Oh my god. So like, in case you didn't know, his widow, whom he married like, I don't know, 6 months before he died, I think. She was pregnant when he died in the plane crash, and she had a miscarriage and lost the baby, which is very sad. So his legacy did not go on. It ended there. But she was involved in putting together this museum. I don't know how involved she was, but they had like letters to like 20 different artists. Everyone from like Dolly Parton to Waylon Jennings to Paul McCartney. A lot of people who were influenced by Buddy Holly. And I don't think people realize how much influence he had. The Beatles were called the Beatles because of Buddy Holly. John Lennon loved the idea that his band was called the Crickets. So they named themselves the Beatles. Elton John wore his glasses because he loved Buddy Holly. He's like, I want to be that. And he wore glasses because of it. John Lennon said, or I think it was, John Lennon did the same thing. He wore glasses like Buddy Holly's because he wanted to be like him. Paul McCartney said like the first 40 songs of the Beatles catalog were heavily influenced by Buddy Holly. And so a lot of these artists contributed to the museum in some way or form, which is really cool. I guess I'm dropping down here. All right, this seems like a point of no return to me. I don't know where I'm going. So I'll include a whole bunch of pictures that I took. There, when you walk outside the museum, they have like a memorial on the street corner. I don't know if it was like downtown Lubbock. I'm not sure. It's just kind of like off the highway where the museum is. There's like a memorial and a huge statue. And I took a picture of the statue so I can share that. It's not a very good picture, but all the best pictures have me in it, and I don't want to show you guys what I look like. What even is this? This one is different. Huh. Anyways, I highly recommend it. If you guys find yourselves in Lubbock, and you probably won't because it's in the middle of nowhere, but if you find yourselves in like Dallas, Fort Worth, Lubbock is about a 5-hour drive from there. So you can hit it up if you want to see a really cool piece of rock and roll history. And I highly recommend that you do. Tale of Two Museums, right? It's pretty crazy. I'm gonna keep walking through here before I end this episode. I'm not gonna play through this whole game. I don't think anyways. Oh, what's going on with this thing? What is that? One thing's for sure is this is definitely bizarre. What is that? That feels like that's gonna come out of the mountain and come at me. Or not. Guess it just sends me back here. Oh, all right. If this may be the last one, I'll check this out. Because it may be the last one. What do you mean? We'll go here. So I get back from my drive, and we drove to Lubbock, by the way. Like I said, it was a 9-hour drive. This is trippy as hell. I don't even know if I'm supposed to go anywhere. That is very pretty, though. I like it. I get back from our trip to Lubbock, and I like immediately get sick. Good news is it wasn't COVID. It was a flu or a cold. I don't know what it was. It wasn't too bad. It was more annoying than anything, but those kind of things are. And sometimes, and because I have asthma, you know, you get a respiratory infection or whatever, and it can inflame asthma. And that's what it often will do to me. What the shit? So sometimes when I get these things, my chest gets really tight. I have a really hard time breathing. And there's really no way out of that without like the help of like corticosteroids. And sometimes antibiotics, depending, you know, what caused the issue. But usually it's a chest tightening, and I can tell when something is not recoverable by me and that I'm not getting out of this with use of my regular inhaler. This is an urgent care situation. And so I've had asthma since I was 8 years old. I've had it for a very long time. And what my doctors usually do, I tell my doctors, yo, I got a cold, messed up my chest, it's tight, I need steroids to help me get through it. And usually they're like, all right, dog, I got you. They prescribe me steroids, help me get through it. I even had one doctor at one point. I had one doctor at one point give me an open prescription for steroids. I could get them at any time. Now that's a thing of the past. Doctors don't do that kind of thing anymore. I understand. I don't like it. It's really cool when I was able to do this myself, but that ended But at least I was still able to talk to my doctor, you know, either through the phone or over a portal and say, yo, I need steroids to help me get through this because otherwise I need to go to the emergency room, which then costs a few $100s. I don't want to do that. What am I supposed to do in this one? I don't know. We'll go this way though. So that's what they usually do. So I messaged my doctor and she's like, yeah, I can't do that. I need you to come in and I need to look at you. I'm like, what do you mean? You did this for me last August. You've done this for me like 6 times before. This is a doctor I've had for like 10 years. So I'm like, what do you mean? Why? Why do I have to schedule an appointment in the future when I need help now? So I schedule an appointment with you in the future or I go to urgent care, which is going to end up costing me whatever, $300 to $500, depending on the mood of the insurance company at the time. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what's going on. Are there other... Maybe there's other... Oh, maybe I have to touch every monument in this cylinder. Because there's one over there. I don't know if I touched that one before. We're going to head to it, though. So I'm like, what do you mean? I messaged back. This is all through the portal. I don't like phones. I generally don't talk on phones. I do have a phone phobia, but I'm old enough to have been screwed by people who lie on the phone. So I have a desire to do things over writing, whether it's email or text or whatever, so I can get shit people say in writing so they can't screw me over at a later date. So I'm communicating to my doctor through their portal. All right, I got that one. And I'm like, I don't understand what the difference is. I say that, but I know what the difference is, and I'll tell you in a second. I don't understand what the difference is. You've done this for me before many times. You did this for me last August. What has changed? What is going on? If it's a matter that you don't trust me, then I need to find a doctor that does trust me. Oh, okay. So she said, you know, it's not a matter, she responded, it's not a matter of trust. It's a matter of, that's a ball. Do I want the ball? The ball's too fast for me. Stopped. I'm gonna go see if it lets me interact with it. Hey, weird. Guess it's not something I care about. So she's like, oh, it's not a matter of trust. This is a high standard of care that may be different than in the past. And I'm like, sounds like a bunch of bullshit. I mean, higher standard of care. This is costing me more money for a lower level of care. I was very annoyed by the response. So the difference is, in my opinion, my doctor used to be an independent doctor. She had an independent office, although she worked under a hospital, because most doctors do, right? They have a connection to some hospital. She still had an independent office. It won't let me go near these things. So weird. But she, earlier this year, she moved and became under the umbrella of a hospital. So I am fairly certain that hospital is just not interested in doing stuff like that. They want to grab their copay, the $50 copay when you go in. That's what they want, and that's why they won't do it anymore. And I find that highly annoying, right? That's not better for me. That's worse for me. It's better for you because you make more money, but worse for me because now I got to pay more money to do this. And she's like, well, you know, we can see you same day, which was nice, yes, but that's not normal to be able to be seen same day, right? That's not common anymore. You got to do it days in advance sometimes. And I know primary care doctors, you can usually get in quicker than specialists, but either way, I needed help now. So I scheduled an appointment for the next day because when she wrote that schedule same day thing was at like 5 something p.m. So I couldn't respond until the next day. And I go in there and she like checks me out, and of course she just prescribes me steroids. I was right all along. And I got my steroids to help me get out of this mess. Because I tell you what, for those asthmatics, no. But if you don't have asthma, steroids are a freaking godsend for asthma, man. And the fact that I have lupus on the side helps as well, because steroids are very helpful for lupus. Lupus is all about inflammation, and steroids get rid of inflammation. So yeah, steroids are like the miracle drug when it comes to asthma. I've been on steroids. Like I said, I've had asthma since I was 8. I've been on steroids, I don't know, 40, 50 times in my life. There were times in my late teens where I was on steroids like 4 times, 5 times in a year, because I struggled so much with my asthma. I was on them a lot. And I tell you, they're not fun to be on. In fact, they suck. They suck to be on. Oh, crap. Okay, whatever that was. So that closed down behind me. Yeah, steroids are awful to be on. I hate it. They make you a little jittery. They make you gain weight. They make you have a higher appetite. So not only do you eat more on steroids, and again, we're talking corticosteroids for you, those of you who don't know. We're not talking anabolic steroids. They are different things. They make you have a larger appetite, and they make you gain weight on top of it. So do I want to go down that way behind the ball, or do I want to go down that way? I don't know. I'll go down here, I guess. But I'm on it now, and I'm already starting to feel a little bit better, at least that wise. I still have a tiny bit of a sore throat. Not really a sore throat. It's more that the sore throat, I've been coughing a lot over the past 5 days or so, and the chocolate milk, the chocolate almond milk, just helps soothe it. Okay, thank you for the monolith. We'll move on. Guess that's not going to close behind. Uh-oh. I guess we'll continue. Oh. I'm going to go this way because I am guessing... I think if people fall down from there, they'd probably be facing that way, so they're more likely to go that way. So I'm going to go this way just in case these are different. I don't know if they are. They may go to the same place. Who knows? I've kind of hit all the topics I had planned to talk about. I didn't expect the game to be this long. I expected it to be a lot shorter, and I'd be able... Oh, are you kidding me? Whatever, game. All right, so I'm going the other way. What? What? Oh, God! I feel like that was a no-win situation. I am now up on one of those structures from earlier in the game, I guess. Can you walk through these? Oh. That makes perfect sense. Were there 2 robots the whole time? Or was it just one guy? I did not realize there were 2. I don't know if we saw 2 or not. They're similar, but they're a little different. Other than the height, of course. Interesting. I'm guessing that's the end of the game. Museum of Monoliths. I liked it. I don't know. Even if it's just a walking simulator where you walk around in like a surrealist landscape, I'm down with that. Especially right now, since I can't use my left finger like I used to. So, I'm gonna go back to my left finger before I close out. It's healed over. The scar itself is healed over, and I'm able to not have a bandage on it anymore. Like the scar tissue is over the wound now completely. So it's able to breathe now, and I think that's helping a lot because it felt really weird having it wrapped 24/7. Oh, made in Ukraine in 2023. That's pretty cool. So it's no longer gross, but it still hurts a lot when I press things with it and whatnot. So we're still not at the clicky type games. Not gonna be able to do it. I'm sticking with walking simulators for now, or at least things that are minimal and clicky. But I think that's it. We had to talk about museums. I got everything I wanted out. I think that was pretty awesome. Link below for this game, which is only $3. So please support the devs. I want games like this to exist. Visit small museums in small towns. I want those to exist, unless they are racist, then maybe not. You could go to lesser racist places like the Buddy Holly Center and help those out instead. Those are fine, but don't go to the Billy Kid Museum. Don't give those people your money. That was very disappointing. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in another video. Bye-bye.